Shalom, family. It's time for me to check in again for another edition of Food for Thought. First of all, I just want to say I pray and hope that everybody's okay and continuing their walk in spite of all the things that constantly come against us to distract us and discourage us, to try to keep us from staying the course, okay? And when I say staying the course, I'm talking about each of us staying on our journey and on our journey to the kingdom, to find the kingdom of Elohim. And just as he taught in his word, us coming to a true understanding that the kingdom of the Most High Powers is within us. And it's where he's been the whole time. And until we truly come to understand that, family, all we're doing is chasing lies and ghosts and perceptions and teachings of men and doctrines of devils that keep us from finding ourselves in our Creator, that we can truly walk in our purpose with understanding and clarity and all these things that we truly desire as his children. So, with that said, just want to say this also, that as I said, I continue to make these videos by the grace of the Most High. And as long as the Spirit leads me to do this, as I said, I'm not trying to teach you. I'm not trying to instruct you. I'm not trying to convince you of anything. I'm just putting things out there for you to consider, to cause you hopefully to consider, we must consider our ways and try to find out if our ways is conducive to the Most High's perfect will. And that, we have an understanding of what we're dealing with, our purpose. Because, there ain't no peace, there ain't no salvation unless we understand our purpose as far as, our Creator was concerned. What's his purpose for making us? What are we really supposed to be doing with our lives? What are the things that we should really be seeking after? And according to his word, we should be seeking the kingdom of heaven that's within us, because that's where he dwells. Okay, that's where the presence of the Most High dwells, is within us. And we have to come to identify that and understand that and seek after that and retreat to that hiding place of his kingdom that he's placed within us to keep us grounded and, to continue to give us clarity in what we're dealing with so we can continue on this walk and ultimately, walk into our destiny, into his kingdom. So anyway, with that said, I'm not going to be that long. I'm just going to shoot out a couple of, topics and just going to elaborate on those things. And as I said, it's just something for you to consider and take it to Elohim yourself to see if these things make any sense. The Father gave us common sense because the Ruach is common sense. Because the Ruach is tied to nature. And anything that's of the righteous nature of our Creator and that's in line with nature as he desires it is called common sense that he placed within his people, his children, and all of his creation, so that we can understand our place, and as we understand ourselves through the revelation of his truth, as he continues to reveal himself to us, then it brings clarity to our lives, and we begin to walk in that truth that he's instructed or revealed to us in newness of life. So anyway, I just got a couple of things to put out there tonight. And as I said, these are things just to, just to cause you to think. Because you know the distractions of this world and the traditions and teachings of men and doctrines of the devil has taken away our ability to think for ourselves, where we think we need some other man or person or something like that to even in our lives to lead us to the Father. And one of the things that I've been saying is that one of the purposes of Yeshua is he came into this world to eliminate the priesthood of men, where we believe that we have to have other men to teach us the ways of Elohim, that we have to sit up under them to know the ways of Elohim, and all these. And all of this happened with this is that men continue, as they love preeminence over other people, they've been their own Elohim and have accomplished being our Elohims as we follow them and their teachings. That's totally contrary to the true word of Elohim, because as I've said, you know, this is the time of end, so the true revelation of his word is coming forth now. And we're finding out that many things that we have been taught and told of men and of this world are lies. And it's not his absolute truth, because if it ain't the absolute truth of the Creator, family, it's a lie. Okay? Or a truth out of season is a lie. So we got to get that and understand that, because that's going to be a place that causes us to be like a tree that's planted by the water. Okay? So, anyway, first thing I just wanted to throw out there to ask the question, do the dead have choice? Now, when we talk about the dead, as we just touch on the physical, okay? Now, as we physically die, do we have choice? Okay? Well, the obvious answer is no, because there's no life in that earthen vessel, so it can't move, it can't do anything, because it's gone. There's no life in it, so that temple or that once dwelling place for your soul and your spirit is dead. So there's no choice there. Okay? At the mercy of those who handle the body, put it in the ground or whatever process that happens to it, that body don't have no choice because it don't have no life, right? Okay. So consider this reality. It's the same in the spirit. Okay, because see, it's pride that makes us believe that we got choice, that the Creator gave us a free will. And as I've often said, the free will is an illusion. Okay? It's an illusion because all life comes from the Creator. So the reality is the learning, the instructions, the teachings, and all of the programming and all the things that we've been through in this existence, okay, it defines who we are and how we carry ourselves and how we behave, right? So, if we're spiritually dead, that means that we're separated from our Creator's perfect will and understanding, which would actually cause us to walk in oneness with nature in this world that we exist in, okay? So we wouldn't live a life that causes us to violate the laws of nature. And then as we're one with nature, we also become one in understanding of the laws of the flesh as well, okay? Because in the kingdom to come, the kingdom that's beginning to manifest itself, everything understands its place, its purpose, and all of these things, so there's perfect harmony. So there's no more death, because there's no more ignorance. Okay, so only the absolute truth of our Creator is the only thing that's there. So everything that's up under the realm of His creation is one with Him, thus we're all one together with each other. So anything that would bring forth the spirit of death and cause a ripple within that that oneness that causes us then to be separated from one another and become self-aware. So the reality, family, is that unless we born of the Spirit, unless we are being made one with the Creator, where we're being brought to the place that, as I've said in the past, what we saw in the beginning was a snapshot of what the Most High ultimately planned on bringing into existing. And that's when all his creation was one with him, thus in harmony with one another, and there was just perfect peace. Okay? So the thing is, we got to understand that we are in the process of being created. The creation process was never complete. We saw the snapshot, and then the process of creation began to play itself out as the spirit of good and evil was brought into this world to cause man to experience it. Okay? And as I've said, since that time we've been operating in his permissive will, which is his will is the things that he has to allow to happen so the process of good and evil can play itself out. So ultimately it can bring forth the truth of the absolute truth of his kingdom that's going to be everlasting and never be broken. Okay? So when I say those who are dead to Elohim, to the Creator's perfect will and understanding, you don't have choice, because in that place, in our fallen nature, family, we are a slave to our senses and our desires. Okay, and these desires that gratify this flesh, we're a slave to those things. So if you're a slave, then you don't have choice, because in reality, all we're doing in this fallen nature is responding to the things that happen to us, and we make choices that's in our minds that's conducive to us being able to survive or endure whatever deal we're going through. Okay? But the ultimate goal is to put ourselves in a place where we get to live in convenience and comfort. Okay? So, this is us in our fallen nature. So in reality, family, the Most High, if you want to say that he gave us a free will, then the free will that you have in reality, okay, as a beingness, a fallen being, you're free from his perfect will. So you're going to choose things that's opposite of his perfect will, because it's going to operate in the realm of his permissive will. Okay? And as we walk in his permissive will, family, we're walking in a realm of death, because this existence where we are right now, this is the realm of death. Okay? It is. It's like in this existence, family, in reality, as far as in relevance to the righteous kingdom of our Creator, this is death, because it's separation from his presence. And that's why we see all the evil and things going on and going to a whole nother gear now, because this is the realm of death. Because death, there's no life. Death, there's confusion. Death, there's suffering. And all of these things, okay? Now, so we need to understand and help ask the Father, the Spirit, to reveal to us our true condition. Let us see ourselves in light of his vision and his understanding as created beings and the purpose for creating us. Okay? So that we can come to understand that life begins with eternal life. And that's being born of the Spirit, or the Ruach. Okay? We must be born again, and this is the message that Yeshua was trying to give us. So in reality, family, the dead don't have choice. And that's the dead, whether it's those vessels that's in the ground, they don't have choice, because they don't have life. And those that are opposite of being born of the Spirit, that's a slave to the spirit of Hasatan. which is nothing but being a slave to your desires without the understanding of Elohim. So the bottom line is being slave to the spirit of death. Don't have choice but to choose death. Things that bring forth more death, more darkness, more ignorance. So that's not choice. See, choice is involved when there's life, when it brings forth life. And those that are seeking the kingdom are the ones that have choice because they choose life. And as we continue to choose life, family, and understanding of ourselves, giving us a clear vision and understanding of the things around us as we know our place, then, family, we begin to produce life as we have an understanding and love and respect for the things around us, whether it's our fellow man, whether it's our fellow creatures, whether it's Mother Earth herself, and the elements and all these things, because the reality, family, we keep associating the Most High with just us as mankind. But the reality, family, the elements and all of these things, that's Elohim as well, even more so. So the reality is, because it was the elements, the power of the elements that actually why we exist right now. In all creation with life exists is because the power of the elements. That's the Most High as well. That's His Spirit is bringing these things into existence. Okay? So the reality is we got to understand and get a proper perception of that word choice. Like I said, because if we ain't born again, you don't have choice. You're a slave. We're a slave to our desires and our flesh. Because the Most High gave Hasatan power to devour our flesh. Because that's what he said. Upon thy belly shall you go, and you shall eat dust all the days of your life, of your existence. Well, that's where we came from, dust. So as he eats the dust, he's eating us, so he has power over us. Because we become one with the thing that's doing the eating. So there it is. That's why we're a slave to our senses and our desires. That's why we're against the Most High. All of these things, and that we're basically, in this fallen nature, we're run by the spirit of Antichrist, the mark of the beast, being subject to the spirit of the false prophet. Okay, so forgive me, I lost my spot for a second. Okay. So to say all that to say this, only those that's born of the Spirit have choice because we choose life. Okay, so because we are alive to our Creator, family, then we're on our way to walking or entering in His kingdom, which is the world of eternal life. So we must turn to our Creator and look to our Creator within to have our identity established in Him so that we truly can begin to walk with purpose. Because, as I've said, family, if we don't understand our purpose, we ain't got a shot. We're just living a lie. You know what I'm saying? Because we must understand these things. Our drive to continue to live and exist in this life comes from one other thing, one or the other. You step back and look at it and be honest. People have hopes and dreams that they hope to attain, and pretty much all of them involve coming to that place of convenience and comfort. Okay? That's pretty much it for the flesh. And when the flesh don't see no hope, that's when people ready to commit suicide and all these things. Okay, because as I've said, in this world there ain't no peace. And we're caught up in our emotions because we're motivated by our emotions. And when we're emotionally crushed, being subject to our lower nature, family, we don't see no reason to go on suffering. So guess what? That's why people take their lives. You know what I'm saying? But the motivation for us going on that have the hope of the Spirit, because the hope of the kingdom of the Most High is within us. We go on because we're trying to understand and walk out our purpose to serve our Creator, because it's what we was created for. So this is our motivation that keeps us going. This is why we don't give up. Okay, because we want to fulfill our destiny. We want to walk, according to His will, with understanding and truth, absolute truth, in His righteousness. Okay, so as I said, we must understand the reality that if we're not born of the Spirit family, you don't have choice. Okay, choice is just an illusion. And as this world continues to show us, what choice do we really have? So if there's no choice, there's no life. And as there's no life, just walking dead. The walking dead. So the bottom line is, for the child of Elohim, we're desiring death. You know what I'm saying? We understand we have to go through this process of death that we exist in right now to be born of the Spirit, to come into the kingdom of Elohim. So it's just a process that we have to endure. And as he said, those who endure to the end, the same shall be saved. And as I said, the end is the end of your life as far as this existence is concerned, that the Most High, everything that He's appointed in charge to us is accomplished. And that's the end of our life. So then we go to the next level of entering His kingdom. And with a totally renewed mind, and even receive a vessel that'll be eternal as well. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to touch on, the question to ask yourself, okay, are you chosen? And ultimately to ask yourself, am I chosen? Okay? Because as a created being, family, we're all chosen for something. We are. Because we're created beings, family. As I said, pride is the thing, or the spirit of Hasatan, that causes us to really forget that reality that we are created beings. And we was created to serve the Most High power. Okay? Well, pride takes away your awareness and your consciousness that you are a created being. So what you simply become is an Elohim to yourself. You become your own God. The scriptures, and I hear a lot of people say, hey, we gods, we gods, we gods. But that's little g's. And that's an expression of the offspring of the Almighty Creator. Okay? And an understanding, because man thinks with this God complex that I'm supposed to rule and dominate over everything and everyone that's around me. But that's not true, family. That's the spirit of Hasatan, because that's what he thinks, and that's what he's doing even at this time, as he is the ruler of this world. Because the scripture says the earth has been given over to the hands of the wicked. So who's the wicked? It's Hasatan. It's his spirit. And all of us, men or mankind, is subject to that same spirit because of the fall. Okay? And we have to be delivered from this. And the Most High is the only one that can deliver us from these things, from this fallen state that we're in. So we got to understand, as a created being, we got to ask ourselves, so what am I chosen for? Am I chosen to be a child of His in His righteousness, according to the kingdom of Elohim, the righteous, holy kingdom of Elohim? Or chosen to be a vessel fitted for destruction? Because as I'm caught up in my own self-awareness and my own pride, I simply go through this life trying to find a spot where I can be in my own convenience and comfort and rule over others to serve me. Okay? To be master of my environment, so to speak. When the bottom line is, only thing we was meant to be the master of is our own flesh, our own understanding. But we can't come into these things because in pride, you're slave to the spirit of ignorance. So you may have all kind of knowledge, but you don't have the wisdom of the Creator. So the bottom line is you're just a slave. So the thing is, these are things we need to be honest with ourselves enough to ask these questions, family. What am I chosen for? Okay? So the bottom line is, hey, he said, you didn't choose me, but I chose you since the beginning of the foundation of the earth. And as Yeshua said, those who the Father has given me, no man will take them out of my hands. Well, see, it's the spirit of man that is through the spirit of fallen man that lies and doctrines of devils and traditions and teachings of men enter this world to manifest this world of darkness and deception that we've been in bondage to. And the only thing that can free us from this bondage is being born of the Spirit. As I said, one of the first signs that you are being drawn of the Spirit to seek after His truth is when you begin to question your existence. When you begin to ask the question, why am I here? What am I supposed to really be doing? Father, please help me to understand why I'm even here and what you had in mind, what you created me to be. Give me understanding of myself through your eyes so I can get out of my own way and become what and who you desire to me to be as far as your kingdom is concerned, your coming kingdom. Okay, in full righteousness and understanding where all things get to walk and live in harmony with all of creation. Okay, I need to know these things so I can be what you desire me to be as far as your righteous kingdom. You know, because the flip side of that coin is being those who's destined to be at least to the least side of the kingdom, which is ultimately where the lake of fire is. And anything that was a part of the process, okay, anything that was a part of the evil that was to try the righteous so that the Father could prove the investment of his Ruach that he placed within his children. Okay? So the bottom line is we either are the process or we're being processed. Okay? That he can bring forth his righteous kingdom. So these are questions that we need, another question that we all need to ask ourselves. I'm chosen for something because as a created being, and I didn't choose to come here. I didn't choose nothing that basically the life that I was given and placed in. So I didn't choose none of this. This is where I was put. Now the bottom line is to show in reality to be proved that you being one of his children of his righteous kingdom, you got to have a desire to understand these things. Okay, so the bottom line is, because one way or another, we chosen for something. Those that are chosen of him to be his children and part of his kingdom, then we're chosen to obtain salvation and coming into understanding and seeing ourselves in the kingdom. Okay? But those opposite ones that was not chosen by the Most High to be a part of his kingdom were chosen and created to be the vessels of wrath to obtain ultimately eternal damnation, because the bottom line was children of your father the devil. That's the spirit of selfishness, anti-Elohim, a little God unto yourself, where you're not accountable to nobody else for nothing that you do. and taking total responsibility for the things that the Most High holds against you. Okay? As I said, getting into that subject, just touching on that a little bit, that the bottom line is, as long as people believe that somebody else or something else has shed blood is your redemption, you are destined for that lake of fire. Because as long as you believe that, then you're not totally accountable for what you've done and the sin that the Most High holds against you. Okay? Because you believe that his only begotten son shed his blood so that you could be redeemed. And that's not true. The only thing that's going to be our redemption, family, is as we receive his spirit and we see things through his eyes so that we know how we are accountable for these things that he holds us guilty of in this fallen lower nature that we've been subject to, that our minds have been subject to. So the bottom line is, without the understanding of the Spirit, you'll never be accountable. Okay, so the bottom line is, hey, look at our fallen nature. It's been in our father Adam since he fell, and we've been walking in the same place. You know, the father asked him what he do, and the first thing he said, hey, the woman you gave me, she the one. She gave me this to eat, and I ate it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's her fault that he made that bad choice. That's because man is selfish. You know what I'm saying? And he's not accountable for anything. As far as he's concerned, he is his own Elohim, and everything that's messed up about him is somebody else's fault and not his own fault. Okay, so gotta ask that question, family. Am I chosen? And if I am chosen, what am I chosen for? But you can only find those answers as you seek out the kingdom within yourself. Because this is a concern to the child that's truly been chosen. And to those who haven't been chosen, they really don't care. They're not going to seek after those things. Because, hey, in their minds, they good. So, understanding pride is another thing that we need to do, that we need to come to help us on this journey. See, understanding pride, what it is, and also what is purpose? What is it supposed to be? What is it actually caused to manifest itself? You know, as far as what it is, pride is just, I guess the simplest way to put it is self-awareness separated from the Creator, okay? It's that part that causes us to be a Elohim to ourselves, where to us, we're not accountable to no one. We don't have to answer to no one, because basically when you stop and look, that's exactly what Adam did. What did he do? You know, the spirit of Elohim asked him, what's this thing you've done? He said, hey, the woman you gave me. So in other words, he actually blamed the Most High and his wife for his bad decision. He blamed, like I said, never accountable. That's the fallen nature of man. We're not accountable, yet we're Elohim. We think we're supposed to be ruling over everything else around us. That's sick. That's sick. That's satanic. As I said, the scripture constantly said that the Most High, the only thing he ever wanted us to rule over is ourselves. But if we don't understand ourselves and we don't seek these things out from our Elohim to find these things out, then guess what? Yeah, we stay in this fallen condition. And therefore, we're walking in eternal damnation already and just don't know it. Because ultimately, what is going to be, and what, you know, and it is what it is. See, those that's being born of the Ruach, we're going to manifest the kingdom, because it's going to come forth in us. And we're going to be what we're supposed to be as children of the Most High. But those of the kingdoms of this world, Yeah, they're manifesting already who they are and their destiny. So as they continue to walk in darkness and ignorance and all of these things of the truth, of the absolute truth of the Creator, it's like in reality, family, just like those of the kingdom are seeing the things of the kingdom, his righteous kingdom, and we're walking in those things and we're walking on our journey to that. Well, just like that, the opposite side is walking in their journey to the lake of fire, which is the least side of the kingdom. Okay, so as I said, until we begin to understand these things, family, the battle that we're in and what we're up against, we ain't got no chance to survive this stuff. Okay, so as I said, understanding that pride is just simply self-awareness that's separated from the understanding of our Creator in whom we came from. Okay, so if we're walking in that, we can't understand or receive our purpose as far as the righteousness of the righteousness of our Creator, as far as creating His righteous kingdom, which is this process we're going. Part of that being the process of being born again is going through this experience of good and evil, ultimately to find ourselves within the righteous kingdom of Elohim. We're being birthed into the kingdom, okay, that's within us, the righteous kingdom of the Father. So we ask the question then, what's the purpose of pride? Okay, now you sit back and look at that. What's the purpose of pride? Okay, now if we look at it from the perspective of the Most High, pride is the thing that He uses to bring forth evil. Okay, and evil is the process that tries the goodness, you know what I'm saying, the truth of Elohim. Evil is the thing that's used to process those who He's chosen to be His. Because if it ain't no process, family, it's not real. So we have to experience all that Elohim is, the light and the darkness. Because in reality, the light is coming forth through the darkness. The darkness is the process that refines the light that's being brought forth through the darkness, which is the righteous kingdom of Elohim, ultimately. So the darkness is the process that's necessary for the light to truly come forth in fullness. The light has to overcome the darkness. Okay? It's necessary. There's no getting around it. So we got to understand then the purpose of pride is to cause us to get lifted up so that we can be the very resistance that it takes for the light of truth, of His absolute truth, to come forth and ultimately bring forth and manifest in His kingdom. Okay? Those born of the Spirit. So we must begin to understand these things, family, about our makeup. Because if we don't understand these things, you can't defeat an enemy that you can't understand. And the reality is we need to understand that our biggest enemy is our ignorance of the Most High's absolute truth. The truth of the kingdom that's within us. So we must understand these things, families, to even have a chance to inherit His kingdom. So this is why, I just wanted to come forth just to share this little bit and just to give you something to think about. Considering we must consider our ways, and as we come to know His ways is the very standard in which we begin to judge ourselves. So we desire to be delivered from the things that causes us to be against the perfect will of our Creator, that we can be a part of His righteous kingdom versus the least side of the kingdom. okay, which is basically the Most High's garbage disposal and incinerator, is what Gehenna is, you know. And when he gets done overall with this process, he said that death and hell is going to be cast into the lake of fire, which proves the reality that we exist in death and hell right now. This dimension that we're subject to right now in our minds, this is hell. It's death and hell. Because look at all the chaos and the suffering and confusion and all of these things. This is where we're being those who us are chosen and seek after the Most High with our whole heart, soul, and mind, and desire to come into the absolute truth of His kingdom. This is the proving ground for us. And as we endure these things, you know what I'm saying? When the test is over as far as the Most High is concerned, that's when we're going to be done with this. And we're going to fully get to enter His kingdom and leave this behind and come into the truth of what and who we really are. So anyway, family, I guess pretty much, that's all I got for this video here. It wasn't meant to be this long. I just wanted to hit on a couple of subjects. But as I said, family, seek the Most High for yourself and ask these kind of questions to give you understanding you need to truly be free to be who you are in Him. As I said, Yeshua was an example of who we are, but we haven't understood it because we've been a slave to the darkness of this world and our thinking. Okay, so the bottom line is this is why we got to seek after Him. And as He said, if you seek me, I will reveal myself to you. Okay? Remember, family, ain't nothing more important to understanding your salvation and what it is and how it's going to come about. And understanding that it's His salvation. And in reality, family, the salvation of the Most High is the feeling and indwelling and understanding of His Spirit or His Ruach that causes us to walk in His righteousness in season. So anyway, family, as I said, just wanted to check in for a little bit, share that little word. And so now, I pray I said something that, provoked you to thought and, help you on your walk to the kingdom by you seeking the Most High for yourself to get the answers you need so that you could walk out your salvation with fear and trembling. So until next time, family, I'm going to say shalom.